Greetings and welcome to this edition of
Positronic.
I'm Barry P. Cook. I'm here to give you my review of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So, let's get right into it. As the film opens, a version of Doctor Strange known as Defender Strange, which originated in the comic The Defenders, and America Chavez, who is a multiverse traveling being from a universe that's parallel to Earth's as depicted in the MCU, called the Utopian Parallel, are chased by a demon in the space between universes while looking for the Book of Vishanti. This version of Strange is killed by the demon that's chasing them after unsuccessfully trying to take America's powers from her to keep them from the demon that's been trying to get them, because she can't control them. And it seems that he figures that if he has them, he can control them and escape the demon until he figures out how to defeat it by universe hopping or whatever else, or with the book. After which, Chavez accidentally creates a portal that transports them both to the main MCU universe, Earth, where Doctor Strange has to dip out of his ex-fiancée Christine's wedding to another man in order to rescue America from a demon that looks a lot like an octopus that's chasing her by killing it with help from Wong, who is now the Sorcerer Supreme. This battle, of course, was crazy and full of awesome special effects and, moves and stuff, which, are even cooler on the giant screen that I saw it on, than I imagine they would be on a regular sized movie screen. It's just fantastic stuff. After this, America explains that the demons are hunting her because she has the power to travel through the multiverse. She explains that the other Strange was killed while they were trying to get to the Book of Ashanti, which the main universe Strange thinks is only a myth until Wong confirms that it's actually real, and that he knows this because he's the Sorcerer Supreme and he gets to see all the texts and whatnot that the other sorcerers don't get to see. Recognizing runes of witchcraft on the demon's corpse and on the corpse of the other Strange, the main MCU Strange consults Wanda Maximoff. They talk briefly about the multiverse and how he came across America, but it isn't long before Wanda reveals that she already knows all about the multiverse and America. It turns out that she's in possession of and has been using the Darkhold, which is a sort of black magic book that grants witches and wizards all kinds of powers, but which also poisons their soul, as it were, when they use it. And that she is responsible for the demons that have been chasing America because she believes that controlling the multiverse with America's power will allow her to reunite with Billy and Tommy, the children she created during her time in Westview during the events of WandaVision. When Strange refuses to surrender America, Wanda tells Strange that she will be coming for her, but not as Wanda Maximoff, as the Scarlet Witch. And she then proceeds to attack Cumberbatch, where Stephen had gone back to warn them that she was coming for America, whom he and Wong had taken there to keep safe. During the confrontation, which again was really awesome to see on a giant screen because, both Wanda and Strange can fly, and it was really just spectacular to see. A whole bunch of sorcerers are killed, and America accidentally transports herself and Strange across the multiverse to Earth 838. On the way there, though, we get to see a bunch of different universes that they're tumbling through because she can't control her powers. And it happens so fast that you can't really take in exactly what the differences are from universe to universe, the whole way, but you can tell in some of them because they're pretty dramatic. In, one of the universes was more like a cartoon universe or a comic book universe. And another one was a universe where everything is made of paint, which was really trippy. And there was one that was completely underwater. So it was pretty wild. Wanda then uses the Darkhold to dreamwalk into the body of her Earth 838 counterpart, who lives a suburban life with her own versions of Billy and Tommy. But her ability to stay there is temporary, and she still needs America's powers in order to be able to physically walk from her universe to that universe. But while she's doing this, which she's doing in a meditative state alongside a captive Wong, one of the sorcerers from the fort takes advantage of her eyes being closed, because she's meditating, and rushes in and destroys the Darkhold, breaking the dreamwalk. I was actually surprised by this because I would have thought it was a bit harder to just grab it and destroy it. You know, it's like a mystical big bad book. And, you know, whether it's in use or not, like I would have thought it would have been hard to just take a hold of it. It's a mystical magic book. The idea that it could be grabbed and just instantly destroyed by like hitting it with a fire spell or whatever, or by a random sorcerer, really surprised me. Anyway, Wanda forcibly compels Wong to reveal, once the book's destroyed, she forces him to reveal what he knows about the book so that she can try to find another copy of it or something. And he ends up telling her that it was transcribed from the walls and I guess the floor of a kind of temple at a place called Mount Wundagore, where she forces him to take her. When they arrive, they soon realize that it's also a shrine to the Scarlet Witch. Meanwhile, while searching for help, Strange and America are arrested by Earth 838's Carl Mordo, who tried to kill Strange in the original MCU universe, and who in this universe brings them before the Illuminati, which consists of Mondo himself, Captain Peggy Carter, King Blackagar Boltagon, also known as Black Bolt, played here by Anson Mount, who also played him on TV. And I think the show was called The Immortals. Other members of the Illuminati are Captain Marie Rambeau, aka Captain Marvel, who's different from the other Rambeau lady who was in WandaVision, Monica, I guess. Interesting. Dr. Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic, and Professor Charles Xavier, aka Professor X. And they explain that through reckless use of that universe's Darkhold, Earth 838 Strange triggered and barely averted a universe-destroying incursion and had to be killed before he could have, have done more harm. Mordo also says that he believes that Earth 616's Strange, which is our Strange, is similarly dangerous. Before they can pass judgment, though, Wanda arrives and kills the Illuminati, except for Mordo. Strange and America escape with help from the Earth 838 counterpart of Strange's ex-fiancée, Christine Palmer, who is an Illuminati scientist. Fleeing from Wanda, the trio enters the space between universes to find the Book of Vishanti, but Wanda appears and takes over America's mind, using her powers to send the others to an incursion-destroyed universe. Staying on Earth 616, Wanda begins the spell to take America's powers. In the incursion-destroyed universe, Strange fights and defeats that Doctor Strange, who had been corrupted by the Darkhold to the point where he was disheveled and a little crazy and had also developed a third eye in the middle of his forehead. Strange then uses the Darkhold there to dreamwalk into the corpse of the alternate Strange, which remained on Earth 616, to save America with the help of Wong. So yeah, zombie Strange. It was nuts because he could talk and everything. It was bizarre. Unable to stop Wanda from taking her power, America says she'll give Wanda what she wants after Zombie Steven tells her that she can indeed control her powers, even though she thinks she can't. And she transports Wanda bodily to Earth 838, allowing Billy and Tommy to witness how she behaves, which in this case was trying to take them from their mother. So they recoil in fear, crying for their real mother, who is the Wanda of that Earth. Realizing the error of her ways, she sacrifices herself and uses her powers to bring down Mount Wundagore and simultaneously destroy all copies of the Darkhold throughout the multiverse. Not really sure how she did that, but there you go. Before Christine returns to Earth 838, Strange tells her that he still loves his universe's Christine, but has always been too scared to have a real relationship. America begins training as a sorcerer at Camartage, and sometime later, Strange develops a third eye as a result of using the Darkhold. Later still, in a mid-credits scene, Strange is approached by Clea, who in the comics is the Sorcerer Supreme of the Dark Dimension, who warns him that his actions have triggered an incursion that they both need to fix, and Strange goes with her to the Dark Dimension, ending the film. So I thought this was a very good movie. The fight scenes were insane. The scenes where they're using their powers are insane. The, appearances by alternate universe versions of different characters was crazy. And, there's funny stuff in it. I found the America character to be likable. So it's just a very entertaining ride. It's very much a big bombastic MCU film. That said, I had some issues with it because I somehow didn't realize that Wanda was going to be the villain. My thinking was that she was going to be that, well, my thinking was we were going to see different versions of her, and that different versions of her that, different from the one that experienced the events of WandaVision was going to be the villain. I didn't realize that the main universe Wanda, who experienced the events or caused the events of WandaVision, was going to be the villain. And the reason I say that is because we already saw that, right? We already saw her lose herself in her grief and anger and pain and lash out with her powers to give herself what she wanted, which was vision and then kids with vision. And so we already saw it, that she used her powers to change her reality so that she wouldn't have to be in pain. And in WandaVision, she ultimately realized, hey, I can't do this. This is wrong. I have to stop. I have to let go. I have to face up to reality. And she did. She let the kids go. She let her fake vision go. And she stood down. And I loved WandaVision. I thought that the story of her losing control and losing herself in her pain, but then, going to such lengths and doing such wrong things, out of grief, and then finally realizing, oh my God, what have I done? Coming back to herself, standing down, and discontinuing what she was doing, to be a very powerful story. And, in the end, she is using the Darkhold, and she does hear the kids call out to her, and that's where they end it. And I guess I thought that at some point there was going to be another story where she tries to get her kids back or get back to her kids. But I never thought it was going to be this type of thing. I thought maybe she was going to realize that when the hex dissipated and her kids died, that they didn't really die, and that she could get them back if she took a series of actions or whatever to sort of unkill them. And I didn't think that that was going to be a series of actions that would hurt other people. I thought it was just going to be, something she was going to endeavor to do, and that it would take a certain amount of time and going through a certain number of steps, and that it would not be anything that would hurt anybody else, but that it would just be difficult for her to achieve, and that was the next struggle we were going to see her face, the main universe Wanda. So I was surprised that the main universe Wanda was the villain in this piece again, and that they sort of repeated the story where, because of her pain and her grief and her anger, and because of being a little messed up after having used the Darkhold, she again went on kind of like a crazed quest to not so much bring back the kids that she made, but to subvert the life of another version of herself in order to live with that version's version of her kids. And she kills a bunch of people in the process. And I don't remember anybody dying from what she did with the hex during the events of WandaVision, but she kills some people this time. And, in the end, she's again realizes she was wrong, which, duh, you knew that already, and sort of sacrifices herself. But it's like, we already did this. This character already went through this. So, A, why did they do it again? And B, why did they do Wanda dirty like that? In other words, except for the last moment where she goes, oh, I got to destroy all these books and stop doing what I'm doing, she's like a murderous evil person in this movie, after having learned that, hey, I can't be an evil person just because I'm in pain. So it makes her doubly evil. Like the first time, like, okay, she wasn't in her right mind, and she, just was she just acted out and went along with it. But then she comes to a realization that she has to be better than that. But then she doesn't be better than that. She does it again. And so it just made, which, you know, someone might do, but that's not what I wanted for Wanda. I like Wanda. Wanda's a hero. Wanda got screwed, you know, in the course of the MCU films with what happened to her. So I didn't think it was right that she wasn't allowed to really find redemption without dying. Like, I wanted her to, after the events of WandaVision, find a way to get her kids back without hurting anybody, which they could have done, and then work to earn her way back into the good graces of her friends, her loved ones, the world, by being the hero she could be and had been. But this just, why did they do that to Wanda? Why did they deprive Marvel fans of a good Wanda when good Wanda is so awesome? Like, don't get me wrong, seeing her go all Scarlet Witch was crazy because we didn't really see that in WandaVision because it happened towards the end. So seeing her do that was awesome. It was a lot of fun, but they could have done that with an alternate version of her, or they could have done it with her fighting against bad guys who were trying to keep her from something, not good guys. So I didn't really like that. But if you take it as a standalone film and don't think about what she went through in the events of WandaVision, it's a great standalone story about someone who, just like WandaVision was, about someone who was in pain and acted crazy because of it, and then ultimately came out of it and then died, unfortunately. But, you know, and no one's really dead, so maybe she'll come back somehow. But yeah, so as a standalone film, really great story, great movie, worth seeing either way, really. But for me, I didn't like that we kind of already went through that with her, and it was sort of like a step backwards for her. And if they don't somehow bring her back and redeem her, I'm going to be displeased. But definitely see it because it's a crazy thrill ride and just mind-blowing in terms of the, you know, the special effects and all of that. And there's a lot of fun stuff that happens. And I think the America Chavez character is cool. So, you know, definitely see it. And I'm definitely looking forward to what I'm guessing will be Doctor Strange 3 in the dark dimension, or having to do with the dark dimension. Though I'm not loving the third eye because it creeps me out. Anyway, that's my review of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I'll be back with more movie reviews in the future. For now, I'm going to take my leave. And as always, I wish you peace and long life.